Hello, everyone, and welcome to Essential Oil Discovery with me, Anna. Welcome to those who are here live today and also those watching the recording. I'm really excited to be able to share this life-changing information with you. And if you're watching the recording, please feel free to get in contact with me afterwards with any questions and for your one-to-one follow-up. And for anyone here live, please do use the chat and we will catch up at the end. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Anna. I am a mum of two small, loud, lively, smelly, messy boys, wife of one. We are quite an active family, as anyone else with noisy, boisterous boys are also probably. We like to be out in nature. I found oils 5 years ago. A friend gave me a rollerball, told me to roll it down my nose to help with some really chronic nasal congestion that I had, just constant. I thought it was all woo-woo. I was working in a sales and marketing role at the time, had been for decades. And very slowly, these oils have really changed my life. I will be completely honest. I have found a way to use them for everything in my home, with my family, with myself, both physical, emotional, and spiritual. They have helped me to support healing in a variety of ways, but also really practical stuff like look after my family so we don't have to go to the doctor as much and know that in the middle of the night I've got a solution for something, and also support my perimenopause years by helping to reduce toxins. So I'm going to attempt through these slides to give you a really good overview of what essential oils could do for you. And then for those that are here live on the call, we can have a chat afterwards. And for people watching the recording, please do, let's arrange a one-to-one so we can work out how these oils can help you in your life. So for those of you completely new to this, what is an essential oil? It is the immune system of a plant. So it's a natural aromatic compound that has been steamed, distilled, or cold pressed from any part of the plant. The leaf, the stem, the seed, the petal, any part of the plant, the root in some cases. And it is incredibly powerful and has no side effects. So remember that. So we always like to talk about essential oils within a wellness lifestyle. So you'll already know if you're on a natural wellness journey, there is no one thing. The whole point is to help bring our body back to a sense of equilibrium with nature. So we have certain levels that we like to make sure we're doing something in each of those. And you will find out soon, there is actually an oil for most of these things, but it's just an understanding that once we start to add oils into our lifestyle, once we start to become aware of these areas, we're really going to see a great benefit. So right at the bottom, foundational, what we fuel our body with, if we can move back to the way that our ancestors would have eaten, whole foods, natural, trying to keep those processed foods at a minimum, then all the better. You'll now have learned I'm a mum of two and we do have pizzas. I'm not an earth mother, but I do make sure that as often as we can, the choices we make support that area of our energy input. Exercise. Now, that might mean windsurfing, that might mean walking the dog. That might mean high impact resistance training. That might mean Pilates, yoga. All it is moving the energy in your body, giving your cells a chance to really excrete what isn't needed from the body and really take on the energy and support the energy where it's needed, just helping our cells and our muscles to keep strong and fit. Rest and manage stress. This is probably the biggest area that people tend to come to the oils for. Or if not, it's the one that keeps them. So for me, I came to the oils because I had chronic sinus issues. I stayed with the oils because I realized they did such an incredible job for my emotions. Now, if we're not looking after our stress, I often think this should be at the bottom of the lifestyle layers. If we're not looking after our stress and being aware of it, it's going to bite us on the bottom. So I will be talking a lot about how these oils can help us in this area. Reducing toxic load, if that means nothing to you right now, don't worry. It didn't to me. But now it's something that I am 100% focused on. And actually, later on this evening, I'm talking at the doTERRA UK Spring Tour in London on this very topic. So it's very close to my heart, and I will be peppering in some inspiration and education on that through this session. And then at the very top, it's an understanding that even when we're doing all of this for ourselves naturally, we have the oils in our home, we're making our own remedies, we're switching out some of the toxins. There will always be a need for Western medicine. There will always be a need for visiting the doctor at some points, hospital care, medication. I am not anti-medication. This is not about throwing everything out and only using oils. It's about making active choices and becoming informed. That's what today is all about. So what is it that makes doTERRA different? Why have I chosen to partner with doTERRA, and why will I only ever use doTERRA oils in my home with my children? Really simple. They are completely pure. So doTERRA do not add in anything at the distillation stage, and they will only work with family farmers. We'll come on to that, a bit more information on that later, who farm organically. So you can be sure that everything in that bottle is safe for your children, for your pets, for your family, for your skin. So safe that we can actually ingest it, which we can't do with any other essential oils in the UK. And they are completely potent. So in some cases, only a drop is needed to have a really significant change in the body. So for those of you that have had samples before this session or before watching the recording, hopefully you'll have experienced the difference that doTERRA oils can bring within your body. So CPTG, the letters at the bottom of the screen, that stands for Certified Pure Tested Grade. Now, doTERRA have set up their own third-party testing. There is no regulation in the essential oil industry. So you could take anything, put it in a bottle, label it's organic, pure, and no one would come and get you. I don't recommend you do that. But doTERRA have wanted to make sure that because they focus on the purity and the potency of their oils, that we can absolutely rely on that. And I'll come on to exactly how we can measure that ourselves in our own homes very shortly. So co-impact sourcing, this is really unique to doTERRA, and this is how they can guarantee the purity of the oils that we use in our homes. So they partner with family farmers all over the world. And the most important thing here is where the plant is in its natural habitat. So the plant has developed its strongest response and immune system to the threats that are around it. The microbiome suits the plant in the soil, which means that when we use the oil, it's the strongest version of the oil that it could be. So there are so many, I could do a whole session on co-impact sourcing, but I've added some of the pictures here just to show the impact these oils have when we use them. It is tenfold for the families and the generations that are farming the land, that are growing the crop to be sent off to be distilled. doTERRA will pay farmers on time and fairly. And in a lot of cases, in a lot of the countries where these plants are grown, that is not the case for everybody. So the liberation and the life-changing nature of these oils is felt on both sides of the bottle. Now, I mentioned a bit about the testing. At the bottom of this screen, you will see sourcetoyou.com as a website. So make a note of that, or feel free to take screenshots. On the bottom of every single bottle, there is a yellow code. And if you type that code into that website, it will show you all of the testing for this exact batch. That's how we know that they are safe. And that is how doTERRA position why these oils are so powerful and why they can be really, really relied on. And it really does link back to this whole process of co-impact sourcing. I promise I won't spend the whole session talking about this. So there are 3 different ways we can use doTERRA oils, and one of them is completely unique to doTERRA. So aromatically, I've got a diffuser running in my studio here. It's sending microscopic amounts of the oil into the air that I'm then breathing in, and it's starting to affect the limbic system in my brain. An even faster track to that is inhaling either directly from the bottle or dropping into our palms and inhaling that way. And if you've had samples from me, it's likely that's one of the ways I've suggested that you test the oils for yourself. So when we use an oil aromatically, it's really supporting our emotions and our energy. Tiny particles of the oil will go up our nose and into a part of our brain called the limbic system, where we store our memories, our behaviors, our experiences. So it'll start to give you an idea as to how we can use these oils to support our emotions, to change thought patterns. For those of you that are into neuroscience, you'll recognize that as something called neuroplasticity. We can use these plant medicines to really support the way that our thought processes work. So that's aromatic. Topical is another way. So we make up rollerballs or we just make up in our hands or in a little bowl. We always use the fractionated coconut oil for a few reasons. It will reduce any skin sensitivity that we might have to the oils. But most importantly, it means that the oil will be carried through the skin layers and into the bloodstream. So within 20 minutes, an oil that we've put on our skin is going to be going all the way around our body. Aromatically, that's a lot quicker. It's within 20 seconds. When we inhale from our palms, 20 seconds, and that oil is starting to interact with our brain. And finally, which actually I think is one of the most potent ways to use a doTERRA oil, is to use it internally. Now, if it's a pleasant taste or one that you personally enjoy, you can add it into water. So I have lemon oil in my water bottle. I always start the day in that way, and I'll tell you why shortly. If it's an oil you don't particularly like the taste of, you can buy the empty vegetable capsules and ingest it that way. doTERRA, please, if you have other oils at home, don't finish this session and go and ingest them. doTERRA is the only one that is going to be pure and safe for you to do that, because if you remember, they don't add any chemicals or synthetics in during the distillation process. And again, that's a whole session about the purity, but just know that not every other essential oil company do that. And it's the testing and the purity that allows us. When we internalize an oil, it starts to work on a cellular level. So all of our cells have a fatty lipid outer layer, which means the cell can penetrate into the cells and really support our mitochondria. When we talk about healing and supporting ourselves from the inside out, that's what we mean. So those are the three ways we can use doTERRA oils, and just a little bit more on safety before we get into the juicy stuff. So while these oils are very safe and gentle when used correctly, and they don't have side effects, we do keep them out of our eyes, ears, and up our nose. We can inhale them, but we don't put them up our nose. We always dilute them with, and I've written here, vegetable oil. We can substitute the coconut oil for all kinds, depending on if we want it for skincare or what other health benefit we're trying to support ourselves with. We don't dilute with water when we put it on our body, because skin sensitivity is the primary safety issue there. If you're on any medication, let me know and I can advise you how to have that discussion with your GP. There are some oils that may interact with some medications, so let's always be really safe from the start. And then the most important point on this slide is you will find doTERRA oils on Amazon and eBay, and I cannot guarantee that they are pure. I cannot guarantee they will have that code. I cannot guarantee that code will link you to testing. In some cases, we've heard that empty bottles have been used and different caps have been put on. So the only way to know that you're getting doTERRA safe and pure oils is to get them from a wellness advocate, somebody like me, who is able to set you up with a doTERRA account yourself so that you know the oils are coming directly from doTERRA. Please don't buy on Amazon or eBay. Right, let's get into it. So we are going to be talking about Nature's Toolkit. So there is a particular blend selection of 6 single oils and 4 blends that are called the top 10 essentials. They're the most versatile. They're the ones that I really like to explain so you can really get a sense of what these oils can do for you in your own home. So we're going to start with lemon. So I mentioned I've got lemon in my water. It's incredibly cleansing. When I diffuse it, it freshens the air. So it's great if I've cooked fish or curry or something the night before. But essentially, it's going to do the same thing for me physically as mentally, emotionally. So when I've got it in my diffuser, it's helping to cleanse the air. It's helping to really help me focus. So I really like having it in the morning just to help me approach any of the tasks that I'm getting on with really effectively. When I drink it, it's helping to eliminate any toxins in my body. However, It's not adding in any acidic levels. So when we take a slice of lemon, the flesh of the lemon is actually slightly acidic. So if we've got anything inflammatory going on in our body, that's not really helping. It may be helping to reduce the toxins, but when we use any of the citrus oils, it comes from the rind of the fruit, which means it's alkaline. And an alkaline body is a happier body. So all of the citrus oils are alkaline. And lemon is a beautiful one to add into water just to help you keep your hydration levels up as well. Feel free to take any screenshots of these slides. It's absolutely fine, and make notes as you would like to. So lavender is all things calming. Now, I used to hate the smell of lavender, really detested it until I smelt this lavender, and I realized that all the other lavenders I was smelling was a synthetic perfumed lavender. So this lavender comes from the south of France, as you'd expect, and Bulgaria. That's where it's farmed. Yes, it's good for sleep, very good for calming emotions, also very good for calming skin. So we can use it on bites, burns, stings, really, really helpful, both topically and aromatically. We can also internalize lavender as well. And after this next slide, I will tell you about a trick for seasonal situations going on with our eyes and nose. Peppermint, absolute opposite from lavender. Peppermint is stimulating, invigorating. When we inhale it, it's going to really help to clear the lungs of any congestion that we've got. When we diffuse it with lemon, it's really going to help our focus. So it's great for the afternoons. And when we mix it with lavender, we have a calming and uplifting effect. So it almost creates, I imagine it like a little buzzing, and I can put it around here to really support any tension I've got in my head or my neck, really supportive. Now, if we combine peppermint, lavender, and lemon, it creates a natural antihistamine effect in our body. We have cleansing lemon, we have calming lavender, and we have cooling peppermint. And those three together are incredibly supportive. Lots of my community are already starting to use this blend, thanks to the early blossoming. I'm just looking out at my magnolia tree that's literally just coming into bloom now. But for some people, it's a time of year that really causes itchy eyes, streaming nose. These three together are very, very powerful, used in the three ways: ingesting, topically, and in the diffuser. Tea tree, Melaleuca as it used to be called. I like to nickname it the oil of gross things because it can really help you with anything a bit stinky, a bit funky in your home. So imagine tiles where you're really trying to clean the grouts very effectively. Melaleuca will help. Imagine a toenail situation or a skin situation where you may have previously had a cream from the doctor that maybe you don't want to use because of the synthetics. Melaleuca and lavender on the skin will do a fantastic job. Any itchy bites, smelly shoes, people in my community have used it to encourage their puppies not to chew shoes. So it has a really wide-ranging use in the home to really keep things extra clean. So this is a friend of lemon. It's very, very cleansing, very supportive for our skin, for yoga mats, stinky shoes, oil of gross things. Oregano. This is magnificent in spaghetti bolognese. You use something called the toothpick method. So you put a toothpick in the little limiter, you rub that in your bolognese towards the end of cooking, magic. The reason you use the toothpick method is this is such a powerful oil. It's really supportive for our immune system. So we can combine this with a few other oils that are also in the top 10: frankincense, lemon, on guard, which we'll come on to shortly, oregano, and tea tree. So you're building a really supportive, cleansing cell support blend for when you really, really compromised with illness. Oregano is incredible. We can rub it on the soles of our feet as well. So if anyone in my home is struggling with any kinds of symptoms, then I will make sure we have one of these blends in a roller bottle ready to go. And oregano on the soles of the feet is really, really supportive as a natural way to help our cells to do what they're designed to do in the body without masking it with something synthetic. Frankincense, mentioned that in the last slide, part of the flute blend. It's called the king of oils for great reasons. So it is a cell rejuvenator. We can use this in all three ways. So we can have it aromatically in the diffuser, and it's really going to help us be very grounded. When we have it internally, it's really, really supportive for our immune function, as I've written there, but basically any sort of cellular support that we want in the body. So if we have anything going on in our body that is cellular and that is maybe likely to impact our long-term health, a drop of frankincense under the tongue is absolutely so incredibly powerful for that ongoing support to help our cells. When we use it with lavender and peppermint, it is incredible. So I mentioned about using it up here for tension. When you add frankincense into any other blend, it superpowers it. It's almost like it adds in this extra benefit. So we can add it to frankincense for extreme head tension. We can use that topically, popping it on the thumb and up here. Soles of feet before meditating or in yoga practice is absolutely incredible. Frankincense is one of the main reasons that people tend to buy this kit, because it's the priciest oil, because it's the most powerful. They were the individual oils. Now we're going to talk about some of the blends in the kit. So On Guard, I mentioned in the Immune Flute blend. So this is a blend all of its own that has wild orange, clove, cinnamon, rosemary, eucalyptus. All of those oils on their own are very powerful for immunity, but when they're combined together, they are so powerful that doTERRA has actually used that base blend to create a whole range of products that we can use in the home for cleaning, toothpaste, laundry, hand wash, capsules that we can use internally, beadlets that we can have on the run. So this blend can be used in so many different ways. Pop it in the diffuser when you've got guests over and they're a bit snuffly and you don't want to catch what they've got. You can use it in your cleaner for any surfaces. It's the only thing I use in my home. That tall bottle at the top is a cleaner concentrate. 1 spoon of that in a spray cleans every single surface in my home. And I'm so confident using it because of its purity and safety that even when my boys are still in the bath and the water's coming out and I'm a mum and I'm desperate to get them into bed quickly, I will spray the bath while they're still in it. That's how confident I am. I would never have done that with any other previous cleaner prior to using doTERRA products because of what it would have done to their skin. So these oils are so pure we can ingest them. So we ingest when we are adults, or typically we say over 14, but we can always have a conversation about that separately. So for my children, they have a rollerball. This is rolled up their spines as they put their shoes on. It's kept by the door, kept by their shoes, so that I can make sure that they're supported every day. That's one of the things that I help you with setting up all of those little tips and tricks once you've got the oils in your home. So On Guard is going to support your body's natural defense, and it can really help you when you're in a compromising situation where you feel like you don't want to catch what other people have got going on. Air. This is the blend that I very first tried from doTERRA. It is known as the Easy Airways or Easy Breathing blend. It has eucalyptus again, cardamom, menthol, peppermint, and a couple of other herbs in there that really help to open up the airways. So I mentioned peppermint is good for that. Air is its really, really powerful cousin. So this blend can be used topically in very, very compromising respiratory situations. We can diffuse it whenever my boys have any kind of chest issue going on. We diffuse it in the evening in their bedrooms as they go to sleep with lavender. Really powerful combination. I actually used this blend last night I had lots of tension and I just did a whole head massage with air. What else was in there? Lavender, balance, which is what I'm going to come on to, and then frankincense. I just wanted to really, really support whatever was going on in my head. So air can help us with any kind of seasonal situations we've got going on in our nose or chest, or any kind of immunity situations, or any long-term chronic respiratory situations. Air is really, really our friend here. Also good for snoring, top tip. Zengest is going to support anything digestive in the body. So right down the digestive tract, from at the top, acid reflux or heartburn, down to bloating, down to any kind of long-term digestive situations in the gut or the bowels. Zengest is very, very helpful. We can ingest it in water or capsules if we don't like the taste. We can roll it on the tummy wherever we're feeling. I think this is probably one of the quickest acting blends that I see. Can be used with children and adults, and really for anything that is affecting the digestive system. So nausea, anything like that, really, really helpful on car journeys. This always comes with us on holiday, whether we're eating different things or whether we're traveling. Zengest is really, really supportive. And then finally, the very last blend in this top 10 most versatile oils is Deep Blue. Now you'll see that, again, a bit like On Guard, there's a whole range of products because it's so powerful and it can be used in slightly different ways in the body. So Deep Blue is your friend for any kind of discomfort in the body, whether it's muscle or joints, whether it's short term or long term. Deep Blue is very, very supportive, sometimes in the body, depending on when it's used and where. It can have a warming effect, sometimes it can have a cooling effect. We can use it before exercise if we know that we've got a situation in the body that's maybe inflammatory or we're protecting, but we can also use it after exercise. So I have a Tuesday morning class, and I know that by Wednesday lunchtime, I'm going to be wanting to rub some Deep Blue on my legs, maybe my hip, probably my knee. When I've been gardening, I know that down here, my forearms ache, so I use the Deep Blue rub. It's incredible to use. Again, I mentioned here for any kind of tension that we've got going on in the head. And it's a beautiful one to use in the bath as well. So this can be used short term for short term discomfort, and also can be really supportive for helping to reduce any kind of inflammation that we've got in the body that is then leading to discomfort in the body. So they are the top 10 that I mentioned that can replace our medicine cabinet if we want to. I always talk about these extra five for emotions. So you don't have to buy a kit, you don't have to buy certain mixed combinations of oils. You really can pick and choose. And these come up so often for people at the start of their journey, and I rely on them a lot. So I always want to talk about these. So wild orange, I have it in the diffuser today. It's the oil of joy and abundance. It comes from 4 different species of orange grown in Spain and Greece. It tastes amazing in water, really, really energetic, uplifting. It goes in my morning diffuser. It's the oil of joy and abundance, and it's really going to help to promote a positive mood. So that diffuser in the morning, just helping to spread a little bit of positivity in the air. Do you remember I said the tiny microscopic particles go in the air? You can use it to manage a room. You can use it to manage the emotions and energy of your family without them even knowing, perhaps, if you want to. So Adaptive is a really powerful blend. They've called it the calming blend. It's one of the most recent, and it can really help very, very acute and chronic emotional panic situations. So it's a really powerful blend of the wild orange we just mentioned, lavender, so it's calming, copaiba, which I'll come on to talk about shortly, spearmint, which is the oil of confident speech, magnolia, which is really supportive for the emotions, rosemary for focus, neroli, which is a very, very powerful floral for our nervous system. So this blend is going to impact with our nervous system incredibly quickly. So I've put at the bottom, diffuse in the home to help support anxious feelings. This is a really lovely blend to use, as I mentioned, first thing in the morning, just to keep the energy of the home grounded if people find morning routines quite tricky. But they've also created it to really work in the moments where maybe anxious feelings really start to take over and start to cause quite an emergency or a panic situation. I have helped people and watched this oil work within the 20 seconds that I mentioned about. When we inhale it from palms, it will be in our brain within 20 seconds. And this is probably the oil that is why I'm still here, why I'm doing this. I used this when I was needing support after my second son with my emotions, and it's one that I still rely on today, not in the same way, but when I've used this oil so consistently and so frequently, it's allowed my body to process those feelings and those emotions slightly differently. That's the benefit of using plant tools is that we're not masking emotions, we're not masking issues, we're putting something on our body that's allowing our body to try and do what it's designed to do. Balance, the grounding blend, my goodness, this one was one of the very first ones I invested in. I invested in it for sleep. So I had lavender and balance in the diffuser pretty much through the day, actually. I didn't quite know how much I needed this blend in my life until I had it. It was also the blend that helped me get through labour with my second son. So these blends, these oils can be so powerful. I will still inhale it from my palms when I need it, when I'm having a challenging day, when I'm really feeling quite overwhelmed, maybe quite stressed, and I just need to bring that energy level down, that vibration down. So helpful for calming, lovely to diffuse in the evening, as I've put there in the Epsom salts. I had it in my little head massage blend last night. So I literally just did a few drops, some of the fractionated coconut oil, had it in a little bowl, and then just massaged into my head. So Balance is a wonderful blend for stressed mums, stressed workers, just before you go into a meeting, if you just want to ground yourself. It's a bit like taking some time out on the grass or walking through a forest just to really get that calming tree energy for you. Copaiba, I've mentioned this oil in the adaptive blend. This is the ultimate for nervous system regulation. Now, if you know much about the endocannabinoid system, you will know about the CB2 receptors, which is the ones that copaiba interact with. So similar to CBD, but actually it's more powerful because it connects directly with these receptors, so it has a more potent effect in the body. What we can experience when we use this oil, or indeed the soft gels, which will travel into our tummy and interact with our cells in a slightly different way, it will help any kind of dysregulation we have going on in our nervous system. So that might appear in the body as physical discomfort, or it might appear in the body as extreme emotional situations. So there's a reason why it's in the adaptive blend to help with anxious feelings. And this is really supportive for people to use maybe a couple of drops under the tongue at the start of the day, the end of the day. I use these soft gels for sleep. And when me or my husband are going through a particularly stressful time, we will add in the soft gels to our routine as well. It's a really, really powerful oil. My dad also uses this for support of discomfort in several places in his body. So he uses the deep blue blend for the discomfort, but the copaiba on top of that, within the body, supporting at a cellular level, is incredible for discomfort, and then will also help his stress levels as well. So copaiba is a really, really powerful oil. Comes from the resin from a tree in Brazil. Serenity. We use this for sleep in our house. So it's called the Restful Blend. It comes in a variety of different ways. There's a stick, again, there's some soft gels. The oil blend in a diffuser, about an hour before you want them to be asleep. Have it diffusing in the bedroom. It will come across the landing. You can even add it into a bath for the bath time routine. I love it in Epsom salts. And then on the days where way back when in the winter and it was rainy and we couldn't get out for the day and I just wanted to bring the energy down in the house, I would put Serenity in the diffuser just to dial down that heightened energy. So it's a really, really restful blend. So that was the top 10 oils in the essentials kit, and also the 5 most used oils that I support people with emotionally. So if you are interested in finding out a bit more about how to get these oils in your home for a discount and with oodles of support, then carry on listening. You can buy oils at something called the retail price, which is just the standard price. However, it's not the best way to buy, it's not the cheapest, and it's definitely not the most supported. So there's something called a doTERRA wholesale membership, which gives you your own doTERRA account and access to 25% off the retail prices. Now, that's a one-off payment. It doesn't oblige you to have to buy ever again if you don't want to. It's not a monthly commitment at this stage. It is a one-off payment to give you your own account with a wholesale price. But the best thing about that is you then get access to me as your doTERRA coach. I often refer to myself as a doTERRA auntie to help you get set up with some of the habits that I've talked about during this session. It comes over time, and I can really help you to dial in on the areas that you want to support yourself or your family for, what oils will be right, and then we set up habits and protocols. I'll come on to that a bit more shortly. So there are some kits that are ready set up, which include the £24 membership. So they're a really good offer because you don't pay that extra. And then obviously you'll get the 25% off in your account for anything else that you want to buy. So the prices on this screen include that discount. So that's what you would pay. So the Essentials kit is the one we've just talked about. It's got those top 10, the blends, the single oils. So you can buy that in two different sizes. One kit is the 15 ml bottle, and that is 250 drops of oil, and you get a free diffuser with that one. There's a smaller kit of 5 ml bottles with 80 drops for £146. So if budgets are concerned, that's the Family Essentials kit is a cheaper way in. But if you're after value, then the Home Essentials kit is the one to get because you get the free diffuser, and the 15 ml bottles give you 3 times the amount of the oil for only £100 more. So that's definitely the best value. I also always highlight the mood management kit because it has the oils in that I've just talked through for emotions. Citrus Bliss is, as the name would suggest, all of the citrus oils. So if you imagine what wild orange does for uplifting and abundant energy, Citrus Bliss is even more powerful for that. So that's the mood management kit at £118. And then the Aroma Touch Diffused is a really lovely option as well. This again comes with a free diffuser. It comes with a bottle of the carrier oil, and it has some of the Essentials kit blends, but it also has Balance in there and a couple of others. So I can send you information for this, for all of the kits available after you've watched this recording or if you're live on the call. This is just a few that I always highlight at this point if people are interested in going for a kit, because it comes, you don't pay the membership fee. So this month there are a couple of offers. So I've skipped that last slide because there's an extra offer this month. So in March, for anyone that, if you're watching this month, anyone that places an order that's over, PV is like doTERRA dollars, so it's roughly 80 pence to a pound. So anyone spending over 100 PV, roughly £100, they will get a free wild orange. Orders over 200 will get a free wild orange and a free balance. And then orders over 500 will get the free balance and adaptive. So those are really, really core emotional support blends. Then there is an additional offer on at the moment. So anyone spending over 200 PV will also get the deep blue rub. So that's really supportive for discomfort in the body. And then Copaiba, which is the oil we talked about for nervous system regulation. So that will help support discomfort, but also really, really support emotions. So anyone, for example, considering the Home Essentials kit on the top left with the diffuser and the 15 ml bottles will get the 200 PV offer. So that's Wild Orange and Balance and the Deep Blue and Copaiba if you're watching this in March. If you're not watching this in March, then let's talk about what the offers are available in that month. So we've talked a lot about prices, discounts, offers. What's most important when you buy doTERRA oils, and this is why it's really important to buy it from a doTERRA wellness advocate, in addition to getting the purity of the oils, is the continued education, the continued support that you will get when you buy. Now, we run weekly continued education sessions completely free. So the best thing about having the oils in your home is that you will be supported to use them in such a wide variety of ways that you can dip in and out of. All of these sessions are recorded and they are posted in a customer hub. So our Amazing Oils Hub is an online customer education hub that, again, you can dip into. We save all of our workshop recordings in there. We have protocols, we have ebooks, we run a free 7-day oil education camp. So I hope you're starting to get the sense that purchasing the oils is kind of the key to the door. And then when you open the door, there is so much support to help you get your protocols set up and to continue using them so you really get that best benefit for your health. So just to remind you, you get me as your wellness coach should you choose to invest in a doTERRA kit with me, which means that once the oils arrive with you, whether it's a kit or whether you've picked and choose and we've made you your own lovely bespoke order, we have a one-to-one session. Once those oils arrive with you, and that can be online or in person, depending on where you are in the country, and we really dial into what oils you've got, what the protocols will be. You can write them down as a little schedule or a diary, however organized you like to be. You get a lovely welcome pack from me, which has lots of extra little treats and samples in there. I send out a monthly email newsletter with offers and workshops and any events that we're running. So that's the member support you get directly from me. I am powered by a huge community behind me. So we run a WhatsApp group for those that want to opt in. We have the weekly continued education sessions, completely free. You can join live or you can watch the recording that is then saved in our customer support hub. So my aim in life with doTERRA is to help educate, inspire and empower you to understand a bit more about how these oils can help you, to hold your hand when they're in your home initially, but really is to help you to become self-sufficient so you feel empowered to use the oils in the way that's going to benefit you the most. Okay, thank you very much for watching. If you are on the recording, please don't forget to contact me for your follow-up to discuss your individual needs. And if you're here live, then I'll end the recording and we can continue chatting. Thank you very much.